An entire pathway of questioning the mind. As you're going to see, everything begins in the mind. So the next 30 days, we are going to take a deep dive inside of our own mind. We're going to walk inside of this maze. We're going to see roadblocks. It's like Pac-Man, ultimate Pac-Man that you're going to play in your mind. You're going to have to eat some rewards, some knowledge that you're going to gain. And you're going to run away from bullshit. But either way, you're going to have to complete the maze in your mind. The hope is that you learn something that you already know, which is the art of asking questions and perhaps finding the source where the answers are versus accepting any answer that seems to be the right answer for a period of time and yet brings you back exactly to the same point after time. If your marriage continues to fail, if you continue to fail as a father, if you continue to fail as a man to provide, if you continue to fail as a man to be a friend or to serve or to contribute, if you're in a loop of same old fuck stories, you got to understand that the answers that you've been looking for have all been temporary. Once you find permanent answers to the same question, that you ask the same question and it's always the same answer, it doesn't change. Your mood may change. What's happening in your life may change. How you feel about it may change. How you look at it may change. You may have more observations around it. You might have seen things that you haven't seen in the past. You may have a better interpretation of what it is. And in fact, you might have even applied what you found out about it. But the answers won't change. I don't have these answers for you. I'm questing for the same answers that you are. We just have a different maze in our mind. But it's the same infrastructure. It's the mind, and everything begins in here. In the next 30 days, a deep dive inside of our mind. There were 3 questions that were asked of us. Question number 1, what do you stand for? Question number 2, have you looked yourself in the mirror of the truth? And question number 3, what is your mission? I'm going to have you consider that we have to look at the mechanics of these questions before even asking them. And this is something that I'm going to ask you to do in every single question you're going to see in the weeks to come. Wait, observe the question. Make an observation about the question before you even answer the questions, because you're going to go so deep the richer your observation is. And the only thing you have to observe is the question. You don't have anything else. You don't have the answer to observe yet. You have the question to observe. You want a good practice of observation? Well, the best exercise I can give you is to grab a piece of apple and sit in front of it and write down for 9 hours your observation. You may laugh, but this was an exercise that was given to religious clerks in the Muslim world, where they're like, hey man, you look at the apple for 9 hours, you make observations about this apple. And then the next day you come and you talk for 9 hours about all your observations. This was the art and science of brainwashing. These people were trained for 5 years in a city called Qom in Iran. The art and science of brainwashing is a dangerous thing. No observation, no data. No data, what are you going to talk about? So, observe the question. We're going to observe these together. The 3 words that stand out is stand, mirror, and mission. There's a contradiction in that. And what does it look like? Well, if I have to stand, and if an image is still, and a mission involves movement, then I can't be moving and standing at the same time. Okay, check. That's my first observation. Which means if I stand on a picture, if I stand to look on a picture, which I consider the truth, then if I'm in the picture and I'm constantly changing and I'm on a mission, that means that truth changes constantly. Check. I see how I live that way. I've labeled that as my truth, and my truth has changed a lot. It wasn't until I faced the truth, which was not a voluntarily stop. It was a punch in my fucking nose that made me stop. For many of you that experienced Warrior Week, that's what Warrior Week was. Warrior Week punched your life. It punched you out of your routine. It punched you out of your excuses. It punched you out of your stories. It punched you out of everything that you knew of. It hijacked you for 4 days, and it says, bitch, you will look at the fucking mirror. Not the mirror that you choose to stand in front, but the mirror that has been put in front of you. You take a look, and you begin making some observations.